Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on DisneyPlus.com. We're live here on YouTube for the weekly Q&A. We've got the live chat going on right now. Just if you are in the live chat, just let me know if you can hear me. I always like to make sure because you never quite know. Okay, so this week is lots of questions. We've got quite a few ones about Black Widow, plus loads of other bits and pieces. So that's always great to know. So what happens is with these ones is each week I put up a little note inside of Patreon and also in YouTube channel members where I get to ask them for questions. So they get to submit them. So you get to do this if you are a Patreon or YouTube channel member, which is from as little as $2 a month, which helps support the website, the podcast, the YouTube channel. All of it helps pay the bills, that all evolve in running the site. We also have a live chat going on right now. So if you're a YouTube channel member, you can join in. We've got quite a few people in there. We've got Dana and also Frank, who are brand new members of Being Silver. Thank you very much for that support. We've also got Lady Jennifer Snow and Mike in there as well, and NYCKMP, and we've also got Joe. So there we go. So what we'll do, before we jump into some of the live questions, because we've got a few of them already jumping in, I'll just jump into some of the earlier questions that we've got from Patreon and YouTube channel members. So the first one is from Caleb. I remember reading somewhere that What If won't be the same animated content for Marvel Studios and there'll be more. Would you like to see Marvel team up with an anime studio like Taiyo Animation for a show? Now, this is kind of quite interesting. Obviously, this past week we found out a little bit more about Star Wars Visions. And we've also saw the first trailer for What If, and they did an article over the weekend about there going to be some more stuff. As far as I'm concerned, if they can team up with some studios in Japan and do the same thing they do in Visions, but maybe even do feature length, do something different, why not? Let's do something a bit more creative. Let's do something very different. And why not do some Japanese manga or anime stuff? Just do it, just do something different. Marvel have already done some stuff in the past, but why not give us something a little bit different? There's never a bad thing with that one there. So that one, I definitely think we should definitely see some of that. Connor asks, what are the terms around Disney's licenses with Channel 4? They seem to own a lot of Disney titles like Melissa and Joey, Malcolm in the Middle, and The Greatest Showman. Is this deal an exclusive one, or Disney can Disney add these to Disney Plus at any time? Now, I did actually try and look around to find some information about the Channel 4 thing. There was nothing on the Channel 4 official website. Couldn't find anything about 20th Century Studios deal. It doesn't look like they're shared, because by the looks of it, most of the things that are on Channel 4 at the minute they're not on Disney Plus yet. Things like The Greatest Showman, Simpsons might be a little bit different, but I'm guessing there must be some kind of exclusivity clause. I mean, I've just started watching Blackish season 6 on E4 because it's not available yet on Disney Plus. Here, I've just watched all 5 first seasons, but season 6 I'm watching on E4. So definitely, I think there must be some kind of deal, but I couldn't find anything about when that one actually is kicking in. Connor also asks, any reason why there's no international release date for American Horror Stories? Disney are really cutting it close now. Now, in the US, it's due to come this coming week. Hasn't yet been announced for Disney Plus. Now, it was revealed last year at the Investors Day that it would be a Star original on Disney Plus internationally. That's now looking a little bit ropey, because in Australia it's airing on another network. And they've not announced any details yet for Disney Plus for us. Whether or not this is a case of them, maybe they've got to wait. There's got to be something strange here. I'm surprised they've not done anything about it. Maybe they don't want to confuse things with who. I don't know. It's very strange why it's not been out there. I would like to know why. I would have thought this kind of would have been a big smash hit to get that onto Disney Plus for the summer, especially here in the UK. And Joseph just added, could What If in the future feature not yet used properties like X-Men or Fantastic Four? I think they could do. I think they're going to save off any because What If isn't really part of the MCU, but it kind of is connected to the MCU. I would imagine if they were to do it, they'd wait. I can't see them doing it themselves yet. So I definitely don't see them doing those like Fantastic Four or X-Men yet. I think that would be a little bit too much. Let's have a look now. Let's jump into the live feed and see what we've got. So NYCKMP said, hi Roger, how was your day? Could make the live Q&A last Sunday due to July the 4th weekend and had to do things with the family. Yeah, I've had a good day. It's been pouring down with rain all day. And yeah, just generally just not been a great day for all of that. But yep, that was the thing with July the 4th. Obviously, a lot of people with their families. Today, I'll be honest, I was not expecting a huge. I'm not expecting a huge amount of Brits to be in the live chat today because we've got the big football final going on right now, which is great. I don't like football, so this is great to be able to do something rather than watching that. So that's cool. Lady Jennifer Snow said, I was watching Shark Beach with Chris Hemsworth and it was filmed in Australia. Do you think Disney will rely more on documentaries or actually TV shows to fill international quotas? Oh, I definitely feel documentaries are a great way of filling in that quota. It's a great way of kind of showcasing off areas like that. And I think actually doing Shark Beach there makes a lot more sense because I'm trying to think because I haven't watched that one yet because it's something I've been wanting to watch. But I did actually. I'm sure Shark Beach is on on the Perth side, because I am sure I've Shark Beach is it's one in there's one in Sydney. Oh, it's in Sydney. I thought for one there was Shark Beach over on the west coast as well, but nevertheless, it's definitely a kind of a cool thing. I think for them to do it. I definitely think we're going to get more of this kind of content with documentaries. It's a lot cheaper for them to make. Also, interestingly enough, I'm watching through the credits of Black Widow. Some of that was filmed in Australia, so that would kind of help towards it, and some of it was filmed in Norway, so that will count towards the European quota. So this is the thing with some of the movies. If they spread out the locations, they kind of get extra credits. So yeah, I definitely think we'll be seeing a lot more of these documentaries and stuff. And yeah, it's definitely a way to do it. Mick said, here, that's good. Joe asked a question, but he redacted it. Ricardo said, greetings from Virginia. Hello to you. Oh, hello to Lady Jennifer Snow. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you very much for that support. It really does mean a lot. I was pleasantly surprised with Disney actually releasing Disney Plus Premier Access numbers. I wish we would get more transparency from all streaming services. Yes, so this is a question we've got quite a few times actually. Got a few about Premier Access. We've got one from Joseph. I think we've also got one from Steamer, and there's a few already. I think jumping up. For me, the fact that Disney have come out today with this press release saying that Black Widow has pulled in $60 million through Premier Access on day 3. You know, we're only talking, it only got released on Friday, it's Sunday now. And also boosting the fact of the box office numbers. I think it's more about the fact that, you know, Black Widow is now has had the best opening weekend since Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, before the actual pandemic. It beat recently the Fast and Furious movie, which I think was their target. I think that was what they were doing. I definitely feel like some more transparency is good. I think it's going to be forced on them at some point, because I think, you know, it's a little bit thing of hiding all the numbers. A lot of questions about Premier Access, of whether or not that will continue, etc. I think the fact that they've shouted this from the rooftops says to me that they are proud, they're happy with it. It also maybe shows that the thing is as well with that Premier Access, that 60 million from them, they actually make a lot more money on 60 million on Premier Access than they do on 60 million from the cinema. So that's actually worth a lot more to them. Now, by my reckoning, just on a basic math, now this is nothing scientific, and there'll be some differences with regional variances. I took 60 million, divided by $30, gives us about 2 million buyers. So that, maybe if you discount Disney Plus Hotstar internationally, maybe around about 60-70 million subscribers worldwide. So we're talking maybe 2% of the people kind of downloaded it. Now, I was one of them, so I did do that myself. I definitely feel like we need more transparency. I feel like they would have been more open about it with Raya, Cruella, but they haven't been. And that's not the thing. Is everyone kind of goes with the idea, if it was good, they would shout about it. If it's not, they hide it. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad. It just, maybe, you know, it didn't do what they wanted. Maybe it just didn't, you know, they don't want Premier Access to look weak. Now they can kind of say how it will, you know, it is there. I think the 60 million, that's great numbers. That puts it on par with like a domestic opening. And again, the actual percentage-wise means it's much more. I think that was a big move today, getting it out there. The fact that Black Widow, you know, it didn't affect the box office numbers. It still pulled in a lot. Internationally, it's still pulled in a lot. And it's still got to launch in China. It's still got more places to go. and I'm sure there'll be more people buying Premier Access. I mean, that number's still going to rise up. This is great. I think that was a real strong move by Disney today to get that press release out with those numbers. It's great to see it. Yeah, I just thought that was such a great thing for them to put it in there. Let's have a look, see what else we've got here in the live chat. So Ricardo said there was recently a reunion of CEOs of different companies, and a source said Bob Iger and Bob Chapek have talked with Netflix CEOs. What do you think their talk was about? I think you've got to look at it in a couple of ways in terms of CEOs and people talking about it. If you're at a large event and you come together, you've got to make small talk. You've got to talk a little bit about it. It doesn't necessarily mean, it can just be a little bit of chit chat. It doesn't necessarily mean they're automatically in negotiations to do stuff. I think it was probably more likely to be just small talking, like, or it's like that with any company. You get together at a big event, companies and stuff, they don't talk major deals. They're usually trying to fish a little bit, but at that level there's no way they'd do it. So yeah, I would generally just bet it's probably just a bit of small talk. Mick said, what do you think of Stephen Dorff's comments of Black Widow and Scarlett Johansson? Personally, I don't really care what he thinks. If he doesn't like it and he doesn't want to do it, fine. He just shot himself in the foot. I mean, if he doesn't want to do those movies, that's up to him. That's his choice. But personally, I can't think of any movie that I've probably watched him in. So it's like, yeah, that's his choice. But as far as I'm concerned, if you don't like superhero movies or things like that, then that's up to you. It's not about what everyone else likes. That's up to everybody else. Bad Dog Gamer says usually Channel 4 only gets the movies for about 7 days on their streaming service on all 4. Yeah, I think they do tend to get them for much less. The only thing is, generally, I think with them, it depends how long they've got them for TV rights. It's not quite so easy, is it? Let's have a look here. Frank asks, will the Disney XD show Right Now Kapow come to Disney Plus, even though it's distributed by Warner Brothers? If it's distributed by Warner Brothers, probably not. There's a lot of shows that were on Disney XD, like Pokemon, which Disney don't have the distribution rights for. They only have the television rights. So if Warner Brothers have got the distribution, but I haven't looked into that anymore. Frank says, could Enchanto come to Disney Plus Premier Access? Because I'd pay $30 for it. I think it looks rather nice. I would hope so. This is the thing with Premier Access right now. Black Widow today is just giving this thing a massive boost in the arm. They're now going to be looking and going, is this going to be something they'll do all the time? And I do feel like the numbers are going to increase with the pandemic over the winter. I think we are going to see some kind of bump of something. There's going to be some bumps in the road. And I don't think this winter is quite going to be maybe what everyone hopes it to be in terms of everything just being back to normal. I don't think we're quite going to get there yet, because I think once it starts getting colder, and so I think this winter they're going to have to do Premier Access to keep people happy. And I just think at the moment, I think if this thing does well enough, it will just become a permanent thing. It'll be a constant boost for Disney Plus. And I also feel like the thing with Premier Access is, would the people that have paid Premier Access, would they have gone to the cinema? Because if they hadn't have gone to the cinema, then Disney just gained an extra 60 million. Some of them would have. But from my point of view, had I gone to the cinema this week to see Black Widow, I would have only bought one ticket for $5. I paid 20. And also then my wife and my mum and dad, who are probably watching that movie right now, are now watching it on Disney Plus. So that's they made more money out of it being on Premier Access with me than they would have done through the cinema. So I think it'll be around, and I think Enchanto, I really think there's a good possibility, but it depends on what they do with Jungle Cruise, because there's still a few more tests to go. Frank Moore said, dude, That's My Ghost is not on Disney Plus US, but on European Disney Plus has it. There's a lot of different things with shows and movies being available internationally, and a lot of it comes down to distribution rights, and also I think deals with them and the quality and all the rest of it. But there's a lot of things that are like that where they're not available all over the place. America tends to get a lot of the Disney Channel stuff before internationally. Joe said, what was your favourite scene from Black Widow? Mine was the Red Room getting destroyed. Ooh, favourite scene? I'm not going to go into too many spoilers. I wouldn't actually say that big thing at the end was kind of what... I didn't really think much of that. It was kind of, over the top. And I actually really enjoyed the helicopter scene with them kind of bantering a bit. And also just around the kitchen table. I just thought them actually just sitting down and talking. I think like shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and stuff like that have really kind of showed me of like sometimes having just stopping the action. The action is great, we love it all, but that little bit of time between stuff is just as important. And I think that gets a little bit lost now. We've got so used to the speed of it. I did feel like that, but there was also, they had that whole first fight with it as well, so that was definitely one that I liked. Some more live questions. So Ricardo said, curious fact about Loki crossover with shorts marked the return of Mexican voice cast of the show. They were recast in 2015, but now brought back. Oh, that's good. Ricardo said the last Disney and Sony deal said that Tom Holland would return for a standalone Spider-Man film. And a Disney crossover, Spider-Man was shown in the What If trailer. So what could that be the crossover? They either got him in to do the voice. We don't know how that deal works out because it might not apply to animated. It might not apply to TV, so that might be a way of getting around it. That's kind of a key thing, and they might not have. That might not come under it, and also not everyone in What If is doing their own voice. And also with animated, they can get in cheaper talent. Lady Jennifer Snow said Enchantico looks beautiful. It does. I'm really loving it. It looks great. It looks such a great movie. Bad Dog Games said, do you think Love Victor is now being aimed at a more mature audience than it was originally made for? Yes. If you watch this week's episode on Disney Plus, Sex Cabin, that was so much more mature than anything we saw in season 1. I feel like with season 2 they knew they were making it for Hulu, whereas season 1 they were making it for Disney Plus, so it was toned down a little. But yeah, I definitely feel like with Love Victor season 2, it's much more mature. The kissing is so much more passionate between Victor and Benji. I'm really looking forward to this week where I can watch some new episodes because I haven't seen any since the first 4. Okay, so Lady Jennifer Snow said, as you said, Roger, Disney keeps every penny from Premier Access. They don't have to split it with the theaters. Yeah, they get to keep much more of it. They will have to. I think they do have to split some of it. I think with like Apple if you go through it, but generally, yeah, the percentage is much less. So they make a lot more. I brought mine through the website, so therefore they get to keep all of that. They probably lose a little bit in credit card transaction fees, but yeah, so much more. It's worth so much. I think they said like maybe equivalent of nearly 5 tickets. NYCKMP. Just checking. Is NYCKMP, is that Khalid? I'm just checking. If not, I'm starting to like the MCU more than the film since they're more nuanced for storytelling. 100%. Me and James said this on the podcast yesterday. I think we felt like Black Widow could have done with some more time to slow things down, and I think that would have worked really well with that one. I feel like we've been really spoiled with the MCU this year. Really feel like we've had that. NYCKMP said, Tom Holland isn't confirmed for What If since Spider-Man was out of the MCU at the time the show was being most likely to sound like. I totally think that's probably very likely. And Ricardo said for Latin America, and Khalid, yes. Right, okay, now I know that I'll say that rather than NYCKNP. It's so much easier to say than K. That's great. Thanks, Khalid. This is for Latin America. It's reported that Star Plus will add the entire Terminator saga. That's really interesting. It depends on the distribution rights that they have. Now, I don't know about the whole Terminator saga, but I do know, for example, like Terminator Dark Fate is distributed by 20th Century Fox. So there's very likely to be some kind of crossover. But yeah, so definitely feel like that one's there. So let's jump back now into some of the other pre-done questions. So Joseph asks, could we finally see with Disney Plus or with Black Widow doing so well? Could we finally see Disney Plus do premium access for Shang-Chi and Eternals? We also got a very similar question from Streamer. Given the success of Black Widow on Premier Access, do you think Disney are likely to release Shang-Chi as a hybrid release? I know they said it was a 45-day exclusivity one, but they've also said that Black Widow was going to be theatrical and then changed it just days before. And I believe we've also got another question over here. No, that was it for those ones. I think they are. If this one has done as well as it has, I could easily see them do. And if the international numbers in terms of like where cinemas are in terms of vaccines and stuff, I could see them pulling it. I think they could do it, and they can turn around and say the fans wanted it. The fans wanted it. So yeah, definitely think we're going to see more Premier Access now that we've had a good success with this one. Dana asks, I know Disney Plus. Sorry, I know Disney's quarter 3 webcast isn't until the 12th of August, but wanted to get your thoughts if they might make any announcements, or if not, what might they be? Um, so I think as far as this quarterly results is going to be important because kind of everything's reopened. The parks are all open around the world. The cruise lines will be up and running. Um, I think the Disney Magic just went past me the other day. I think it's getting ready to start its UK staycations next week, and so they'll be up and running, and so everything's now that's going to make a big difference from what they're doing. They're going to be able to come out there. I wouldn't at all be surprised if there's a big announcement in that same time with a Premier Access or something like that, or subscriber numbers. And there was also another question here from Lego Ninjago Productions. Says, do you think they will announce an official launch date on the 12th of August for Eastern Europe, South Korea, Hong Kong, and the broader expansion of Disney Plus in Japan? Yes, I think we're at a point now where we're going to get that lineup for the next wave of Disney Plus international launches. I think they that is something that seems to be like to come up. It's a very business event. These quarterly events, they're all more about making money rather than saying about movies and TV series. It's all about the money side of things. So yeah, they're going to want to keep showing that their growth. Yeah, and I can also see as well they might want to spread out the growth to different quarters and stuff. So yeah, I definitely think we're going to get a bit more of that one. Um, let's see here. So Streamer said, given the success, oh, we've done that one. Streamer says, what is your prediction for the end of Loki? He will be in the castle at the end of it. Right. So it's either a variant of Loki. So Loki's running it, but I feel like that would be a little bit too much of a push to see having Loki have that much control. Kang makes the most sense to me if they want to set up for Ant-Man with time travel. So that I'm going to be honest, I'm completely kind of coming into this going. I'm not watching any of the theories. I'm not watching anything like that. I think we all got burnt with Mystique, or was it Mustafio on WandaVision of how bad that was. Go in just expecting nothing and then be excited. So I'm not really. Kang kind of makes the most sense to me. Doing something with the quantum realm, that quite might be the way of getting around it. But yeah, so that would be how I would do it. And then Streamer also asks, what upcoming Disney Plus originals are you looking to watch before 2022? I think for me, What If is one I'm really looking forward to. Star Wars Visions is another one that I'm excited about because it's something different. But for me, Miss Marvel, Hawkeye, and the Book of Boba Fett are just, they're the ones I want to watch. They're the big ones. They're the big guns. They're the one. I'm hoping there's going to be something else a bit more exciting from the Disney side, but those are the 3 main kind of shows I'm looking forward to. Marvel and Star Wars. Can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong with them at all. Okay, and then, yep, so let's jump back now into the live chat, see what we've got. So, Caleb said the Terminator is owned by James Cameron, so there must have been an agreement there somewhere. Bad Dog Gamer said, how would you rate Big Sky after seeing the finale? I really enjoyed Big Sky. I thought it was a great series. I wasn't so keen on the side story involving the farm and those people. I really enjoyed the whole thing of them chasing down Ronald, and I kind of feel like I know they wanted to set up this story of them being private eyes and doing other stories. I kind of feel like that the whole side story with the farm, I didn't really care so much about it. I was still just interested in what they were doing with Ronald. But I really enjoyed that series. It's definitely, to me, one of the best Star originals. It's kind of it was just nice watching something different. And especially on Disney Plus now, just having some choice. So I really did enjoy Big Sky. Ricardo said, some people are now saying that Spider-Man No Way Home trailer will be released on July the 22nd. That's because of some Russian promo. What are the possibilities? It's going to have to come sooner or later. The fact that they've already got merchandise out there, I still do not understand why they released all those images of the Marvel Legends and the Funko Pops and the Lego sets without even seeing. We now know there's going to be multiple different Spider-Man outfits. Maybe they have to wait. Maybe they had to wait until Black Widow was done. Maybe there was like a contractual stuff. So I definitely feel like that is. I definitely feel like that was a bit of a mistake. Ricardo said, David Slavzo said that Discovery says they're not done making deals, implying that he could try to acquire another company. Do you think it would be who? You think they would be big enough after they acquire Warner Media? I think you're going to see lots of little ones coming in. I was reading earlier, I think it was on the Hollywood Reporter or Variety, that the US government is going to start looking into these bigger mergers. I think they're going to push it to a point where there can only be so many mergers. If they pick up a small little studio and stuff or a little company, that's one thing. But I think the big mergers, they're going to get to a point where they can't do too many more. But I think right now, like if I woke up tomorrow or an email dropped in saying Comcast or Disney or someone purchased Lionsgate, I wouldn't be at all surprised. Or if Apple, someone's going to pick something like that up soon. Stuart said, do you know if the Hulu documentary 321, McCarthy 321 is coming to Disney Plus Star? As Disney said it's coming to Star internationally. If so, is it coming to D Plus like it is on Hulu? I know it's coming to Disney Plus internationally as a Star original. I know it's been confirmed for Australia. I don't know if it's been confirmed for other regions, but it will be coming as a Star original. It's just I don't think they've announced the UK date or anything yet, but they have officially confirmed it for Australia for Star, and I suspect it'll be everywhere. It's just I don't know. It's a bit of an odd one putting that out at the same time as kind of saying about the Beatles one. Okay, so Joe said, did anyone watch Fear Street movies on Netflix? If you have, what did you think of him? I haven't watched it. I'm not too good on horror and stuff. He says, having watched 7 seasons of Walking Dead, and having just watched the first episode of season 7 last night, that was pretty graphic. Kaylee said, the one thing I appreciate about Loki is the show takes you in a Jeremy binary timeline. See The Good Place. Other properties that are fixed timeline when time flows differently in the TVA. I think I only watched like 1 episode of The Good Place. I'm kind of feeling with Loki now that it almost feels like Doctor Who. It's kind of a little bit kooky and a little bit wacky, and time doesn't really matter and stuff. Okay, so let's have a look here. Okay, so we have got some more questions here from YouTube. Frank said, since The Incredible Hulk is on Disney Plus Spain, would we see other Universal movies such as Despicable Me and Jurassic Park coming to Disney Plus? I would say no. I would say, and also I think with The Incredible Hulk in Spain, it's actually distributed by Sony, so there might be a different distribution deal for that one there. So I wouldn't say it's all of them. I think it's more than it's just maybe Disney had the rights to distribute it with Sony, or they made some kind of deal of some kind. But yeah, I wouldn't expect so. Kaylee said, I remember reading the news that Universal Films will be heading to Peacock on the Pay 1 window and Amazon Prime in the Pay 2 window. What are your thoughts on this, and how will this affect other film companies? I don't think it's even just Pay 1 and Pay 2. It's literally, I think, Pay 1. After a movie goes to the cinema, it's then going to Peacock for a few months, and it's leaving Peacock and going to Amazon for a few months, and then going back when it leaves then back to Peacock. And I did not understand this in the slightest. This feels like, again, Comcast really not caring about their streaming service like it's got like it's a library, like it's a vault, literally taking a movie on and off, on and off, on and off. I just feel it's like, oh, it brings in more, it's like, oh, it's new. I don't know, it just feels really weird. I mean, could you imagine like Disney Plus now if we were like, right, okay, you've Rise of the Skywalker and Frozen 2 have been on there for 3 months now, we're going to whack them over to Netflix. I mean, it just, I don't know, it's so strange. I could have understood it had been non-exclusive and Amazon were just getting access to them for like a few months, and it was like a way of bringing in extra revenue. I could kind of understand that. But if you're trying to build up a massive streaming service, why would you want to give away your... They just want to reclaim money. That's all Universal are looking at. I don't think other companies are going to do it because I just don't see why you would want to do that. I know that it's money, but it just seems such a strange way of trying to build up your network. And Disney definitely don't seem to be going anywhere near that one. But very strange thing that they did. Lady Jennifer Snow said, besides Alien and Percy Jackson, what other Fox properties would you like to see Disney produce for Disney Plus, Hulu, and Star? I actually have a list that I made up for this one. So, Alita Battle Angel, either a series, an anime series, an animated cuts, or even a follow-up movie. I think that would be a great thing for them to follow up with. Another one is Ice Age. I think Ice Age would be a great way of doing some shorts or a series. You know, I feel like that is something that they could do very well. I think even an actual movie could kind of pull people in, but I think a series might be the best way of doing it. Introduce some new characters. I think that's definitely a cool way to go. I think anything like Rio, I think it was a massive mistake getting rid of Blue Sky Studios. I think they should have had them lot just convert over to doing Disney Plus content. The big one for me, Planet of the Apes. That feels like a prime time. You know, I mean, if I kind of again watching The Walking Dead now, of like, if you did it like that, a little bit gritty. I love the three new movies where they're a bit more gritty, a bit more warlike. I think a Planet of the Apes series, high budget, limited series, and really follow it through. I mean, that could be a show that could run for decade. I just think that's such a great franchise. I've been a fan of the Planet of the Apes since I was a kid, but I think the new movies were so good. I'd probably say do it as a reboot and start from the scratch of separate of how they kind of. I just feel like there's so much scope in that one. Another one is Avatar. Avatar, obviously we got the movies coming up, but I think if they could tie in a spin-in series, you might not want to do that with the movies coming in, but an animated series maybe, that could be a cool way of tying it in. But yeah, and obviously we've got Predator and Aliens, and I don't know about Die Hard. I think that would be a bit much, but things like that would be a great way of moving forward. Okay, so we've done, and the final question on here that we've got is Frank asks, does Disney still have the rights to the Power Ranger shows? No, they don't. They belong to Saban. So let's now jump into the live chat and see what we've got going on. Okay, so Ricardo said, you think someone like a tech company like Apple could acquire Disney could happen in cases something worse than the pandemic could happen? I think Apple could have. They've obviously got the money for it. I don't know if they would want that. I mean, Apple seems to be quite happy with just doing what they're doing. To me, they seem to be playing at doing bits and pieces. They've seemed to have worked out they have a device, and also why not just make money off of Disney, Netflix, and Comcast, and everybody and HBO all selling their apps through your devices, and you just take a cut of it. Why you basically making money off of everybody, and if they can do the same then with video games through like Xbox Game Pass and things like that. I definitely think that could be a thing moving forward. Mick asks, would you see Florence Pugh and the Taskmaster get a Disney Plus series? Taskmaster had one in the comic book. I think Yenna could definitely be. I mean, I think she's going to be a big part of Hawkeye. I think it would be a good way of kind of spinning her into a Disney Plus series, and then when they all come together for a movie, I think she's going to be around for a while. As Taskmaster, I don't know if they maybe might need to do a new person inside the suit. The person that was inside the suit, and I don't want to go into spoilers on this one, was a little bit underwhelming for me. Didn't really have any personality. So I think in the comic books he's got a bit more of a personality. But yeah, so for me, I'd love to see more of that character, but I think they'd have to do a lot of work on it. Okay, so Dana said, do you think an X-Men Disney Plus series would be better than the movies? I think they would probably. I think it could do. I mean, if you watched The Gifted, I really enjoyed that series. I think X-Men actually is much easier as a series because it could be a bit more grounded. There's a lot more characters, but I think if you're going to introduce the X-Men, you do it in a movie and then you can sprinter off. There's so many more mutants they can use and kind of spin off that way. We've also got Ricardo said, talking about the mergers, I heard a while ago that Jeff Bezos could think about buying Netflix in the future. In that case, could you think all Prime Video could go to Netflix or vice versa? I think the problem is I don't know if would they be allowed to buy? Would Amazon be allowed to buy Netflix? I mean, it'd be a great way of boosting up Amazon Prime Video. I mean, but Netflix is very much a way I could. I don't know. I really don't see I don't see how that can happen. I think there'll be some major flaws in terms of Amazon already have their network of of the servers and all the rest of it. And I just don't know. I don't think I think a lot of governments will be starting to get really itchy with some of these mergers at that size. Joe said it's quite strange of what's happening with American Horror Story. Hope it comes soon, as I hope they add more, and I also hope they add more Planet of the Apes movies. Yeah, I hope they sort that out with the Planet of the Apes movies here in the UK. Again, just down to the existing contracts. But yeah, the American Horror Stories is one of those really strange ones. So many people are looking forward to that one, and it just seems odd of how it's being promoted or not being promoted. Whether or not they had to wait till they got Fox channel out the way, I don't know. Right, okay, so there we go. So that is all the questions that have been done in advance, and that's all the ones we got on the live chat. So we'll hang around for a few more minutes if you've got any more questions. This has actually been really fun. There were lots of questions, lots of people in the live. I was thinking, should I move it because of the football? But I was like, I was like, well, I'm probably not going to have a huge amount of Brits watching tonight, but hopefully they'll catch the replay. But yeah, so it's just great for everyone for the support. Today we did put up a video where we did a review of Turner and Hooch. It's kind of funny, though that one was one that I think it was me and James, we recorded back in March because of the summer. I was going to have, due to real life commitments, I was going to be a bit more restricted. So we recorded like 4 months of those retro reviews all within a matter of a few weeks. And then next week we're going to be starting off with one I did with Jeremy just a couple of weeks ago. So it's kind of feels quite nice to be getting into that stage, and we'll have some more stuff coming up. But let me know what you think of all of like the retro review stuff, because it's unfortunately it's kind of one of the least, it seems to be one of the most least popular videos and stuff that we do, but something that we've been doing for a while. But obviously at some point we're going to look into, you get to a point where you look at everything and go, right, is it working? Could we tweak it? Could we do something else? Should we spend more time on something a bit more different? But like, I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on that one. Joe said, what movie are you most excited for this year? I would say Shang-Chi and Eternals are the two that I'm most looking forward to, because they're new to me. I don't really know anything about them in the comic books. I've never read them, so therefore I'm coming in blind. So those are the two I'm really looking forward to in terms of the movie. Dana asks, what other Marvel D+ series would you like to see? Oh, there's so many. There's so many different characters that I'd like to see them go into. But I'd also like to see them do something a little bit more with some of the bigger characters as well. I don't feel like we need to have Disney Plus as the side characters and the sidekicks and all the rest of it. I definitely want to see a Red Guardian, something with the Red Guardian now after seeing Black Widow. There's so many with the X-Men that they could kind of spin off into as well. I think that would be a great way of doing it. I don't think of other characters. I'd love them just to bring back Daredevil. I know he's going to be in some of the upcoming stuff. Just give me more Daredevil. Just tone it down a little bit. Take out a few things. Do that. Do the Defenders. Yeah, I mean, he kind of feels like a natural choice to kind of have his own series again on Disney Plus. So let's see what else we got. Lady Jennifer said, what do you think the release dates will be for Hawkeye and Miss Marvel? I think Hawkeye will be beginning of October. So if What If starts in August, I could see that one running through then till October. That will then run through till then when Eternals comes out. And then once Eternals is over, then we'll move into Miss Marvel. I think we'll get Miss Marvel probably beginning of December, running over like Christmas and New Year. Ricardo said, do you think there'll be more National Geographic originals for Disney Plus? I think there should be. I think we're at a point now where they've still got to keep those channels running, and also the National Geographic channels are generally geared towards more older audiences. I think we should have more. I believe the problem to me is I feel like Disney Plus has had the problem of trying to get attention of the adults, especially in the US, because it's deemed as like a Disney, a Marvel and Star Wars. And I think National Geographic, things like The Right Stuff, the way they can get around this is if they can keep doing what they're doing, like with the Shark Fest and the Gordon Ramsay thing, start putting things on there all the time, push Disney Plus to the National Geographic people, and then you're going to need like a year or two of just constantly just keep like nudging them and going like all this content and just put more on there. They're just going to put, they need to put a lot, and also stop shoving stuff onto Hulu that is a little bit more mature. Put it onto Disney Plus. Let people, that is the kind of content you can push the boundaries a little bit more. And so like, it's not for kids. Well, you got the parental controls. It's not for kids, but at the same time, it's not going to appeal to kids either. Some of that stuff. Dana said, started watching Lost on Hulu. Did you see it? I saw Lost the first time it came out. I did watch that the first time it came round. My wife is literally watching it right now. I came this afternoon. I ended up watching half an episode of Lost. So yeah, but I don't think I would watch it again. Just seeing the clips and stuff again of what my wife's watching through. And I'm not very good at going back and watching TV. I'd much rather, if I have a choice between watching a new series that I've not seen or an old TV series I've seen before, I'll always go for something new because it's like I just like watching new stuff. So that's the thing. Okay, so Mick said CBS are bringing back Criminal Minds. See if they will go back with it. I think they have to make it with ABC. I think that's going to be a key thing. I've tried watching Criminal Minds. I've watched the first episode from the first season on Disney Plus. The trouble is it's quite old, so it's a little. I do keep thinking, well, it's so popular on Netflix, I need to give it a little bit more of a longer go. But it's kind of hard watching a 15, 18-year-old TV series with massive, great big. It just looks old, and maybe I should just jump to the newer seasons. Right, so if anyone's got any more last questions before we head off for the evening, again, just a huge thank you for all of your support. Really makes a massive difference. So Frank said, I've seen that some of the Disney Plus originals, such as Future Worm and Peekaboo, are only available in the English audio. Do they reuse the versions of Hulu? I'd imagine so. Or they were also on the Disney Now app as well. So they probably just used what they already had. Which is a shame. They just seem to be really bad at putting library content on Disney Plus, in general. And I don't know if that's down to subtitles and audio and bits and pieces. So Joe says, thank you very much. Bye. Actually, I think that's probably a good point. We'll probably leave it as my voice again a bit croaky. So thank you very much. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you all guys during the week. I'm going to be tomorrow. There'll be another video about at least Black Widow. Check out this weekend's podcast. Thank you again for all of your support. For everyone in the live chat, big hello. And thank you, Joe, also to Frank, Mick, Dana, Ricardo. We've also got Kaylin in there, Dana. And a huge thank you as well to the new members that we've got, and also to Lady Jennifer Snow for the super chat for the super chat. Really do appreciate all of that. And on that note, guys, thank you very much, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters.